So yesterday, at the UN, in that speech that President Trump made at the UN, he said that he discovered 2 weeks ago that the European nations are still buying Russian oil and gas in large quantities. I didn't know whether to laugh or to cry, because I'm thinking to myself, wait, you didn't know this? You discovered this 2 weeks ago? I'm thinking, I'm this small little YouTuber here on this small little channel of mine, and I've been saying this now for the past, ever since the war began, that Europe is buying oil and gas from Russia, and that since the war began, Europe actually increased their purchases of Russian oil and gas. So, how is it that American leaders don't know this? Because I saw that also even Sean Hannity covered this yesterday when he was interviewing Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. It's surprising to me. It's just really surprising that you guys are saying you didn't know this. That the same Europe who is funding the war against Russia is funding Russia's war effort by buying Russian oil and gas. It's not just Russian oil and gas, the amount of uranium that Europe is buying from Russia. Oh, now that's going to make your head spin. Because, yeah, yeah. Let's just say that Europe has not been in a game for the longest time. They're not in a game. Um, what can I tell you? Like, obviously, the Biden administration had to blow up Nord Stream 2 because they couldn't convince the Europeans to stop buying Russian oil and gas. And no one can convince them to stop buying Russian oil and gas. If they stop buying Russian oil and gas, how are they going to keep their homes warm? Because American LNG, firstly, it takes way too long to get it to Europe through ships. And it's way more expensive because it's delivered to Europe through ships. Everybody who has been in oil and gas, like I've been for the past 10 years, knows that it's cheaper to deliver oil and gas through pipelines. And that is why Russia has spent billions of euros in the past 15 years building these two pipelines, Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2. So if the US wants to deliver oil and gas to Europe, well, I'm afraid you're going to have to build a pipeline all the way to Europe. Yes, you need to do that. I know it's a long distance, but it's doable. If you can do that, then you can actually give Europe a viable option out of buying Russian oil and gas. Till then, if Europe is not buying Russian oil and gas, the only other place that they can go is the Middle East. And do you know who that is? Iran. Maybe Saudi Arabia, but Iran. What are you going to do? What can they do? You know that Europe has some of the worst winters in the world. So they need central heating, just as how America in the Midwest, Mideast, Wisconsin, Oklahoma, Michigan, Minnesota, Wyoming, Indiana, Chicago, all of these states need central heating. If they don't have central heating, they can't survive. So what are they supposed to do? And in order for them to have any resemblance of sensible central heating, they need Russian gas. And the oil part of it is that they need electricity. They've tried this renewable crap and it just didn't work. So they are going back to fossil fuels, and Russia has built the infrastructure to deliver cheap energy to Europe. Or your other option is to cut a deal with Russia, that you are not going to put NATO troops in Ukraine, and that will end the war. And then you can continue to buy Russian oil and gas as much as you want. Make up your mind. Which one is it? But anyways, this is funny. I mean, I think I probably made 3 to 4 videos on this, on the war between Russia and Ukraine, and and every one of them I've spoken about how much reliance Europe is having on Russian energy. It's not possible right now to disentangle Europe from Russian energy. It's just not possible. Do whatever you want with that information, but it's just not possible. Even if they wanted to commit to stop buying Russian energy, they can't do it in the next 2 to 3 years. They can possibly find solutions, alternative solutions, maybe by 2028, 2029. And if that war is still going on by then, you know that by then Ukraine would have no chance. Not as if they have a chance now, but by then they would have absolutely no chance of winning. Anyways, do whatever you want with that information, but Europe will continue to buying Russian oil and gas for the next foreseeable future. Deal with it. That's what it is.